Maybe give me an introduction of who you are, maybe your background. How long have you been a believer?
Okay. So my name is Don Taylor. I have been a believer 40, 51 years. 51 years. So since the age of 7. When I was around sixth grade, fifth, sixth grade, both my sisters were involved in campus life. That actually played a pivotal role in my life for a number of reasons. One, because I was kind of an introvert, like we had talked about a little earlier, and it gave me just a sense of belonging. I switched 4 schools 4 times because of the districts that we were in down in Chicago. And so my head was spinning in that. And you try to fit into one school, and then you go to another school, and then you go to another school, and you go to another school, and you're always trying to just break into the social thing, and it's just like, I don't know where I'm even fitting in at this point. But campus life was kind of a solid thing throughout all that. Then I went through high school pretty well. I went through Lutheran high school and was in choir and all that kind of good stuff. Had a love for singing. Even when I was 7 years old, my neighbor, I remember, telling me I would be on the swing set just making up songs, and they were always like songs about God. So I'm like, that was kind of cool. So that's always been a part of my nature, so to speak. Then after high school, I went to the Marine Corps and got diverted a little bit more from where I was supposed to be walking with God. And I went off the narrow track for a while and kind of wandered. When I was around 21, one of my friend's moms had asked me, she challenged me to come to church with her. And because she knew I wasn't really walking the walk. And I was like, yeah. And so I went there, and one of my favorite composers of the previous time, was Keith Green. And so me and my buddy, after a night of drinking, go into the church, sit in the back pew, because I'm just going to I want to get out of here as soon as I possibly can. And the first song they play is "Oh Lord, You're Beautiful" by Keith Green. And I'd recommend anybody to listen to that. And here I am, about 22 years old, with my buddy, and I'm just bawling my eyes out because God's convicted me so much. And I walked away from drinking and walked away from all the stuff that I was doing that was wrong, and turned my life back to God. About 3 years ago, I went to a comedy cafe up in Waupun, which was campus life again, because one of the people in my church had asked me to go. And so I went there, and I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of a cool thing to volunteer. Then I met the leader as he walked into a church, and I asked if I could volunteer. And so I volunteered for about a year and a half. And then he decided to step down, so now I'm doing the campus life stuff. And so I'm helping other kids now learn a little bit more about God and who he is and his love for them. You can be very real with the kids. They don't want people who are showing them what they're supposed to be, but showing them where they've been and where they've now come to. And so, yeah, I talk about, things that happened in my life that I certainly did wrong, bad mistakes that I made, but I also show them how Jesus moved me past through those things. He held me through the storm, and he carried me on. And so it gives them hope, I think, too. And it's neat to see the light on their faces when they come to hear a story by me or from the Bible or something like that, and you can tell they kind of get it. I was telling one of the guys on our last camp outing and stuff like that, I was telling about how I used to sing a lot to God, and just it was always a very special thing, and people would recognize that in church and stuff like that. And he's like, I'd really love to hear you sing one time. And we were having a concert type of thing at the camp, and I was singing, and I actually happened to just be behind him. And he turned around and he's like, is this what you were talking about? And I'm like, yeah. So it's just being able to share those little instances and just walking through those kids' lives' journeys with them, the hard, the good, the whole of it. I give thanks unto the Lord with all my heart, with all that I am, I praise your name. For all that you have done and changed in my life, you set me free, now I'm no longer bound, and I am free when I'm in your love, because your love is all I need. I am bound to you, bound by your love, and in these bonds of love I find that I am free. singing has always just been part of my heart. I guess it's for me, it's just kind of pouring out my love towards him in a way that only I can do through my voice. And I don't personally tend to think I sometimes have a great voice, but other people seem to be touched by it sometimes. And I always tend to think that God blesses their ears more than he does my voice. So, but it's just been a good way of pouring my heart out to him. One of the ladies at a church that I was helping worship at, helping lead worship and stuff, she turned to me and told me, she's like, whenever you sing, she's like, I just know, like, God just told me, like, he just smiles at you. You know, it really, like, brings joy to his heart. And all the feeling that I used to have singing to him, the experiencing the Spirit or the feel of the Spirit and just the outpouring of love, it instantly disappeared. And I didn't understand why. And I didn't know what to do with it. And there was a time during that time, for about 2 years, it had been going on, and I was like on my knees crying to God. I'm like, I so want to feel you some more. There was times I knew his heart. I could feel what was on his mind, type of thing. And that was just all gone. But he kind of brought me to a point during that time when the question came to my heart from him, if it never comes back, are you still going to follow me? And I actually had to think about that quite a ways. Not that I didn't believe in God or anything like that, but just the relationship I felt was just like on mute. And that was a hard season, but I decided, like, Lord, even if I don't feel you, I still want to be with you. I'm still committed to you. It took almost 20 years before I even started feeling anything or hearing words from the Lord again. So that was a weird time in my life, but that's where I think it's like, even if you don't see like a whole lot of fruit bearing outside, sometimes the roots grow deeper then. When I sing now, there are times when I feel God, and then there's times when I don't. One of the thoughts that came to me a long time ago was when I was sitting in a Tenebrae service, which is Lutheran, like Good Friday service. And it basically shut off banks of light so that the whole church just becomes dark except for like one spotlight that's on that crucifix. And it came to my mind, it's like that since God's outside of time, I can sing to him at any point in time, right? And so we sang the song, Lamb of God, Pure and Holy. And so when I sang it, I just looked at the cross and I, in my heart, I guess, fixed that I was going to sing to him on the cross. And that was the first time that started coming back a little bit. And since then, it's just, when I sing, I try and make sure that I'm focused on him and not on other people and not on myself.
Although I speak with the tongues of men and angels, and though I prophesy and understand all, although I have all faith
I think worship can be several different things. I think it starts out as a relationship with God, and that can spring into song, that can spring into reading the Bible, in prayer, anything, any of those type of things can be worship. Even the sacraments can be worship. All those things can play parts of it. I think that that's us to God worship, focusing on just Him, only Him. It's one of the things I have sometimes problems with, like newer songs. So it's always like, God did this for me, and God did this for me. And it's like, worship is just supposed to be about praising Him, His attributes, His glory, His beauty, reflecting on that and having it built into your own character and stuff like that. Then there's the flip side of that, where I would go to like Romans 12, where it sits there and says, I urge you, brethren, to present your bodies as living sacrifices. This is your spiritual form of worship. Do not be conformed any longer to the image of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And then it goes on to talk about acts of service and acts of love. And so the first part is always towards God, because we don't know how to love until we first know His love. And then it's acts of service towards other people. And that can be anything from feeding the hungry, clothing the poor, visiting a sick person. It can be teaching other kids or other people about God and His love. It could just be real simple things, just small acts of kindness, but it's just doing those things as God brings them into your life. How can they believe in the one who they've not heard? And how can they hear unless somebody is sent? So, whether you're sent or not, take up that word, bring it to people, bring His love to people. Jesus said a long time ago, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. We need more workers.